We are now going to talk to, listen to Luigi. Luigi, as you can see from the text in front of you, he's got a wide experience. And again, I met Luigi from the Eden project many years ago, which became the Cambridge Circle. So what Luigi is going to do, he's leading very much so the Including project. He's the project coordinator of it. It is a very, very relevant project to what we're trying to achieve in the STAIR4SECURITY. We have engaged with Luigi tremendously over the course of the project. His insight, his values, his contributions were incredibly helpful towards us. So now we are at the stage where Professor Luigi will explain how he's actually used the STAIR4SECURITY platform in the Including project, and I think you will find this most interesting. So Luigi, if you don't mind, I'll give the floor to you, and we take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for the kind introduction. Good morning, everybody. So in this presentation, I will be going to highlight the benefits of using the STAIR4SECURITY platform, but let me say the whole project for improving the process of standardization in a sensitive field like nuclear security. And I will do this with a practical example taken from the exercise that the Including project is going to hold in the Piraeus Port in Athens on the next 22 and 23 of June. So I will give you some more information on Including during the presentation. So, okay, but before to go into the details, to move into the example, it is necessary to contextualize the framework and try to give an answer to a very important question. So nuclear security standardization, where do we stand? Is a very big issue. It would deserve a specific workshop. So what I will do is just try to summarize the situation. And I will start from the basics. So from the exact definition of nuclear security, all of us know that we come to standardization. It is essential for all stakeholders to agree upon the basic definition. For nuclear security, it is commonly assumed that the definition from the International Atomic Energy Agency Nuclear Security Glossary, in which it is reported that nuclear security is about the prevention of, detection of, and response to criminal or intentional unauthorized acts involving or directed at the nuclear material, other radioactive material, associated facilities, or associated activities. With more than 450 nuclear power plants in the world, with hundreds of nuclear research reactors, with more than 20 million of shipment every year in the world with radiological and nuclear material, it is very clear that the nuclear security events can materialize anytime and anywhere. So nuclear security is a global concern. But here comes the first issues. When we come to the implementation of procedures and measures to prevent, respond, and mitigate a nuclear security event, the single states have the complete responsibility. It is clear that this generates a fragmentation in procedures, in equipment or interoperability, and the data and information sharing. Next slide, please. It is true that we have some legally binding international instruments. All of them are issued by the United Nations or directly or through the associated agencies like the IAEA, EMO, or ECAO. These are documents at the very high strategic level that address the legislative framework and are absolutely prominent to rule and harmonize the regional and international cooperation. Next slide, please. But when we come to the granularity of the operational issues, of the technical issues, we have a very important series of documents that are issued by the IAEA. They are based on international consensus. They are not legally binding, and they have different degrees of interest. So there are some there are some about the fundamentals in nuclear securities, others are recommendations, others are on the implementation for the recommendation, and others are about technical guidance. So these are invaluable instruments, but they are not always known at the proper level, especially when it comes to the operational level, where we move from strategical to tactical to operational level, and most of the time they are well known only to sectorial bodies or forces. So next slide, please. All this head ups, and we can summarize the current landscape in standardization nuclear security in these bullet points. So there is a fragmentation in the plurality of the international activities. There is a limited awareness of the benefits in adopting standards. There is a limited knowledge of the process leading to standards, and a limited knowledge of the procedures to find the standards. And finally, there is a lack of platform. Well, it's possible for the experts, for these stakeholders to engage together, to build a consensus, to share ideas and views. Next slide, please. So all this is confirmed by the distinguished opinion from Ernst Moniz, that is the former US Secretary of Energy and the chairman of the Nuclear Threats Initiative, that in a recent statement said that nuclear security progresses have slowed down during the last 2 years, that the domestic nuclear security regulations remains weak, and that there are major gaps in the global nuclear security architecture. So, and when talking about domestic, Mr. Moniz was talking about the USA, and so if this is the situation in the country that is most committed in nuclear security, we can imagine what is the situation in other countries, despite at different degrees. So next slide, please. It is clear at this point that it is necessary a coordinated effort to promote the dialogue among all the stakeholders and to valorize the best practice, optimization of resources, and cross-fertilization with other critical areas. In light of this, it is key to find the crossing point between nuclear security and other areas like CBRN and disaster management that have so far gained more attention from the international community, also because there are a lot of common elements. So when we come to management of the nuclear security events, the first responders, the equipment, the resource mobilization, the communication system are more or less the same, like in a CBRN or disaster management element. So next slide. In this regard, the collaboration between the Including Project and STAIR4SECURITY can be seen like a best practice. Including is an H2020 network of practitioners in the field of RN emergencies, and with a focus on nuclear security. It's a project with a duration of 5 years. It will end on summer of 2024. It connects 15 partners from 10 different member states, and one of the objectives of the project is to promote standardization in the radiological and nuclear domain. And from the practical point of view, we are pursuing this task by organizing practical exercise, trials, and drilling with the nuclear security, scenarios. Okay, next slide, please. So one of the main contribution from S4S to Including has been from the e-learning tools. So there is, on the platform is available a section where this is called Standardization for Beginners. So it's a course where you can understand the process of standardization, what is a standard, what is a CWA, how you can be engaged in this process, how you can contribute. And so this has been very useful in our project, because every time I came across practitioners that was not aware or not fully aware of what is a standard and the process to build the standard, I said to him, please go to on the S4S platform and follow the course for beginners. So it's a very well developed section, and I'm grateful to S4S for this contribution. So next slide, please. Okay, another very important contribution has been the search and discovery tools. Here is where the project has been searching for documents and the CWA and non-binding guidelines that can be of help during our work, in particular during the preparation of the practical exercises. The added value of the database is that the collection of documents has been pre-selected by experts, so this will avoid the background noise of searching documents on common searching tool on the webs, where you can find a lot of not relevant documents. So just to give an example, and Augustine will show you later on a practical and hands-on exercise on this, we have been able to find in the database documents from the International Atomic Energy Agency related to the organization and evaluation of exercises, but also a very relevant CWA developed during the Drivers Plus project that we have adopted as a standard, let me say, as a best practice for developing the joint action plan of our exercises. We have also find a lot of benefit from a document from the Federal Emergency Management Agency that is about the evaluation program of the security-related exercise, but also the NATO International CBRN training curriculum that has been very important for our project to develop a strategy for identifying clearly the learning objectives of our exercise. So next slide, please. Very important is also the networking tool. This is a precious tool to engage a very wide community of stakeholders during the preparation phase of the exercise. This is very important because one of the scope, the imperative of including is not to train the nuclear security community on yesterday threats. We would like to train on today and future threats. So to have a feedback from a wide community, if we are addressing the actual need and the future need of all the stakeholders, is essential to execute exercises that could be an added value for this ongoing process. And it is very important also this networking tools for the post analysis of the exercise, where there will be an evaluation where we will discuss together with the stakeholders the lesson learned in order to also improve further the next joint action that we are going to organize. Next slide, please. Okay, so very important is also the lot of material, informative material that that is available on the platform, because it is of help to the practitioners. We have found a very nice courses on basic of radiation measurement, very relevant document for the management from the medical point of view of radiological emergencies, and also the treatment of extreme scenario like the nuclear detonation, like an EMD. So this is a part that has been very, very interesting for many partners in the project. Next slide, please. Okay, let's move to the practical example. So including is organizing in Piraeus Port and a large field exercise. The main organizers are the Hellenic Ministry of Defense, the Greek Atomic Agency, and the Piraeus Port authorities. As you can see, is a very high level collaboration. This scenario will be the illicit trafficking of radioactive material, and the operation will be related to the search of the sources, to the detection, recovery, and put in the chain of custody. This for the nuclear forensic part of the exercise. We will have extensive use of drones or robots, and also the test of procedures for equipment and the response or decontamination. What is relevant critically is that on 24 and 25 June, there will be a workshop organized by the University of Athens to discuss the exercise results and how the relevant gaps have been addressed within the nuclear security framework. So this part is strongly related with the networking activities that is managed by the STAIR4SECURITY platform. Next slide, please. So why this scenario? Let me say that to carry on the exercise in the Paris port container terminal is a very important added value, because this gives us the possibility to test the intervention procedures and to test the instrument in a real setting. This is the real scenario where, if we have a nuclear security events, all the agencies have to work. The Piraeus port is strategical point of entry for Greece, but for the whole European Union. And let me say that the smuggling of radiological and nuclear material to maritime routes and the shipping is recognized as a major concern by all the international analysts. So it is important that the international community consider to improve the common security standard for detection technologies at this very critical point of entry. Next slide, please. Okay, so what the S4S platform is supporting this including exercise by identifying the relevant standard, pre-standard guidelines and provision to be applied in the planning phase of the action to promote networking among practitioners and also to optimize the results and the resource sharing and participation, and also report the outcome of the Athens workshop for further discussion among practitioners and aimed at generating consensus on main topics. So I leave the floor now to Augustine that it will show to you. Okay, but before I can, okay, yes, Tom, please, Augustine, I mute myself.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. My name is Agustin Garcia Pereira, and I work in NUIG, NUI Galway, as a researcher, and I am the technical leader of STAIR4SECURITY. And thank you very much for the presentations. We are going to now provide a brief hands-on session, and I will show you a bit of the platform. We've been talking and describing it a lot, but now we will go through the different features that the platform provides. Please, can you confirm my screen is being shared?
Yes, it's coming through.
Okay, so this is STAIR4SECURITY platform main page. When we access the platform, we will be asked to be logged in. I will do the following with my user account, and once we log in with our credentials, we will be redirected to the main page of the platform. As my colleagues were describing before, the platform can be thought as a platform that provides two main functionalities. One is the social or networking features, and the other main functionality is the search and discovery that will help us find resources and navigate through the vast amount of information that the platform provides. If you think it's okay, I will start demonstrating a bit of the networking functionalities. So on the top menu, we can find different categories. One of them is networks and communities. And in this category, we can find very different groups where different discussions and different type of works is being done. As a user, we have the option to create groups. We have the option to log in and join other groups. I will now demonstrate based on what Luigi was explaining before and the scenario in Greece, in Athens. We will demonstrate the creation of a group for that purpose. So, for instance, when we click on create a group, we will find a very easy to follow menu where we can select a title for the group, and we can also select a description for it. Copying this. Once we completed this main fields, assume I typed this. I'm lying, I didn't type them, I just copied. but we will press here, create group and continue. And in the next step, we will have a privacy configuration for this group. The platform allows the users to create different type of groups. So the three options are as a public group, as a private group, or as a hidden group, with very different configurations related to the security and the privacy of this group and the content and the members within it. We will say this is a hidden group, so nobody will see it other than the members that will be invited. And we will say that administrators and moderators will only be allowed to invite other people into the group. Next step, we will upload a profile picture. We have this one in here. We will say we just want to have this small thing in there. And then we also have a cover picture, just to make it nice. We will select one. And in the next step, the user will have the chance to invite other members. So as you see now, we have a list of other members that are my friends. We also have the chance to invite members that are not my friends. But I would say we will skip this and we will just publish the group as it is. I won't invite anybody to this group by now. And here we can see the group is being created, and we can start, sharing content and interacting with other members of the group. We can share links, videos, documents in there. If we go, for example, to the activity menu, in here we can see all the activity that is being happening across the platform. And now I would like to jump into the most important, maybe, or the most discussed feature of the platform is the search and discovery. The search and discovery can be found in here in the main page, where we have different menus, where we have our taxonomy that Patricia was explaining before. Our taxonomy consists of 3 levels: domains, topics, and types. And here, let's say, based on Luigi's scenario about radiological and nuclear activity, we can start looking for documents that are of our interest. So we can say, for example, that we select training and simulation, because the exercise in Athens is a training activity. And in topics, we can say we want radiological and nuclear, because we are dealing with that problem. And if we click here, search, we won't use any keywords, but we can use keywords here if we want. If we click here, search, we will find, we will reduce the amount of documents that are available for the user based on the taxonomy. And we will find this very important document that is is of a lot of interest for this event. The nucleus information resources. We have some metadata stored for this resource. Some of it, for example, we have a download link or access link where we can just follow it, and we will have access to this resource. If we go back to the main menu, we can refine our search more. And now we can say, for example, well, we still want training and simulation, but now I want to look for documents related to man-made disaster. But I want to restrict even more my search, and I just want to find best practices around this area. So we can click in here, and we can click search. And this search will help us find this very important document for the security-related exercise. If we go back, now we can say, okay, I don't want training and simulation resources, but I would like to find out about medical intervention and countermeasures. Because in the exercise we will be talking about contaminated people. We will select radiological and nuclear because the contamination originates from a radiological source. And then we will click on search. Well, we couldn't find any document, but we can now, for example, remove this one. Okay, this should have give us an oh, sorry, because here's the error. I left the best practices document clicked, so the filter didn't find any best practice with the previous filters. So now we will remove it, and we will find the TMT handbook and 2 other more resources. But the TMT is a very important and is one of the key documents that we were looking for to deal with the procedures to manage contaminated people in radiological and nuclear emergencies. We can access this document in here. And last, I would like to do another exercises related to crisis operations and management. So we will click in here, crisis operations and management, because we are dealing with a crisis where we have multi-agency intervention. And then we will click on pre-standardization here on the types. We will leave the topics without any filter, and we will click search. And this will help us find this document, Systematic Assessments of Innovative Solutions for Crisis Management. And we will see more metadata around this. Because this is an openly available document, we can click on the download link, and we will immediately have access to the document that we are referencing. It's loading. So here we are. And that will be my main presentation for now. I hope it was clear. And if there's any questions, please use the questions and answers in the Q&A feature of the tool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Augustine, for this hands-on exercise on the S4S platform. So it's time to conclude my presentation. And I say that nuclear security is a global challenge. A better coordination between states is key to improve the prevention and response to a nuclear security event. Standardization of procedure and equipment is a milestone to achieve this task. And the cross-fertilization between STAIR4SECURITY and including Project Mark steps ahead to get practitioners involved in this standardization process, and including is organized an exercise in Piraeus on next June. And this will be a significant case study to link a simulated scenario with a realistic setting. Next slide, please. I am very for this action, I'm very indebted to Rachele Braccanleoni. She's online because she's the leader including for the cooperation with other projects. Here we have held our consortium during the kickoff meeting, and the contacts we have a web-based website and some emails where you can contact us. And okay, so that's all from me. Next slide.